My guys over at the Discord have been asking me what are the best ways to practice and warm up over and over again, so instead of replying to all their messages, I'm actually going to just make a guide for all of you. Today, I'm going over my personal warm-up techniques as well as the pros practicing techniques. My name is Nate, and welcome to Blizzard Guides. Warming up is essential to Overwatch and any sort of competitive activity. Trust me when I say this, warming up can generally mean the difference between going on a 10-game win streak and immediate losing streaks, as well as just stopping current losing streaks. I've tested this out myself. If I warm up beforehand, I can usually end up going on a 5 to 6 game winning streak, and if I don't warm up, I lose the first few matches and I only end up back where I started after a while, and by then I'm just burned out. A lot of pros have their own practicing techniques and warm-up strategies, so if I miss your favorite strategy, drop a comment so that we can get all the best techniques all in one spot. Also, really quick, I do want to say that warming up and practicing strategies are generally the same, so you're generally able to do all of these things for a short time to warm up or a long time to practice. But without further ado, let's get into this video. At number 5, FFA. I don't know how many people I've told this, but FFA is by far the absolute best way to warm up and practice. I play so much FFA. It's a really great way to overcome stuff like clutch anxiety, where you're in an intense situation and trying not to freak out. And it's also a great way to practice mechanics in the most fundamental way possible. And it's also a really great way to improve awareness by a long shot. There's a few important things that you should know when using FFA as a practice method. First, you can't let yourself get tilted. You're not trying to win FFA. This may be difficult for some of you that always want to win, but you can't always go for spot number 1 each time that you do FFA, since a lot of the heroes do poorly in 1v1 matchups. You're going to be disadvantaged on the majority of heroes that you warm up with, so you have a few options when it comes to that. First, you can just roll with that hero and try not to tilt, and focus on clutching 1v1s that you normally couldn't, so that when you're in an actual comp game, you can clutch 1v1s and be a stronger player. Second, you can practice heroes with what I call transferable skill sets. Take Lucio for example. Let's say that you want to warm up and get better as Lucio. Well, if you play a lot of FFA as Genji, whose primary fire and movement is very similar to Lucio, when you play Lucio, you're going to be a better aimer since both have transferable skill sets. If you want to get better at Reinhardt, Doomfist is actually a great option, believe it or not, because, well, they do have somewhat limited range and get punished for not playing in optimal positions, except for the fact that Doomfist has a bit more mobility options when it comes to it, so he does better in FFA, so you do get a bit of transferable skill in terms of mechanics. And also, I'll leave a few examples on screen so that you get an idea of what I mean by transferable skills. FFA is just a great way for players across all roles, so if you want to practice, FFA is a great option. Just don't play Brig or Moira, please. At number 4, a few important things to note to make your warm-up and practice way more effective. Please make sure that it is not easy for you. Your warm-up should be as hard, if not harder, than your actual game. So if you're just breezing through and not actually warming up, you're not going to improve one bit. In addition to this, don't get relaxed before you start warming up or playing in general. Don't do anything that releases too much stress beforehand, otherwise you're not going to do as well in game. So on top of that, when you're practicing, don't focus on your aim. Focus on something else like music with complex lyrics, or holding a conversation, or what you're going to be doing for dinner. If you focus on aiming subconsciously rather than focusing on how you're aiming, you're going to be significantly more effective while playing rather than just, focusing hard on your aim while you play and practice. At number 3, Kabaji's aim training. This is something that I've recently picked up that really helps a lot with getting your aim to be kind of insane. I haven't used this as much as FFA personally, since I only learned about it a few months ago, but I actually think that this is super good for making sure that you're consistent, since FFA has the tendency to give you too wide of a variety of skill levels, whereas this custom game gives you the option to warm your aim up at a more fundamental level, rather than focusing on your mechanics or skill sets. Here are the settings for the custom game, although I would start out with lower movement speed since the default is just slightly too high for your first time. Just fill the enemy team with hard AI. It doesn't matter which heroes they are. It's preferable that you have 6 different hard AI on the enemy team, and you can practice anything in this. But I think that practicing as Tracer and practicing your tracking and blink flicking, and then going over to Soldier, McCree, and Hanzo and Widow covers pretty much all of the basics. For all heroes except for Tracer, practice at a close to long range, focusing on being consistent. Take your time, don't try and go crazy, just work on getting expecting your aim to be decent. I used to do a similar practice regimen to this back when before FFA was a thing, and it genuinely was a large contributing factor to my climb to GM. I used to do something like this each and every day before I started playing comp, so I seriously think that you should do this as much as you can. At number 2, I'm actually going to go back on my word. Back super long ago, well, not really, but when I made an aim guide, I told you guys about a game on Steam called Aim Hero. This game is a good way to practice your aim, but I've realized that it's not as good as I thought. See, the thing about Aim Hero is, in games like Osu or other stuff like Aim Hero or Osu, is that they're not really actually preparing you on your aim for Overwatch, but they're more so preparing you for your reaction time in general, which, while that is a good thing, if you're looking to learn to practice, forcing yourself into new environments like these that don't really have that much transferability other than the reaction time into Overwatch isn't really going to show a direct improvement on your gameplay. However, if you already used Aim Hero or Osu or other similar things, continuing to do these may actually show an improvement. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that if you're already playing either, keep using it, but if you're not, just use the other previous tips and don't worry about purchasing Aim Hero or starting to play Osu, because generally those things aren't going to improve you as much as other things will in the time that they will take. But finally, last but not least, at number 1, a short but obvious one, but a really important one. Watching the pros. I started doing this recently and I've noticed it helps me a ton. Let's say that I'm planning on playing hitscan for that day. Well, I go and watch hitscan players on Twitch or VODs on YouTube just for a few minutes. By noting small things that they do, I actually become super consistent in the long run. If you watch pros or people that are good at what they do, you'll subconsciously imitate what they do. It's actually really cool, and it's a lot less work on your part. Don't watch clips of them popping off though, watch actual gameplay. If you only watch the highlight clips, you're only going to feed your mind out because you don't watch the setup beforehand that it takes to get those cool clips. If you watch the actual gameplay of them playing normally, you're going to have a great time because you're going to know the setup, and then you're going to be able to have those really cool highlight clips because you know what they were thinking beforehand. Just while you're watching it, an important thing to note is that you have to be thinking about what they're trying to do, not what exactly they're doing. So let's say that I'm watching OGE play Reinhardt. I'm trying to think about what kind of plays he's trying to make and what's going through his mind rather than the small minutiae mechanics stuff that he's doing. I try and think about a big picture thing of what he's doing, why he's trying to do it, and everything like that, and it ends up helping me a lot more. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If I missed anything at all, please leave a comment down below. It really does help a lot of people. So if you do leave a good comment with a good practice warm-up or some other pros, I will definitely heart it if I see it. Sometimes they get lost, so I'm sorry about that. But otherwise, if you do see something, please let me know. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like and a comment with your favorite tip in this list. And if you want to see more videos like this, you can get subscribed and notified so that you never miss one of our uploads. If you want to be a part of the community that made this video possible, and they were the ones that recommended this video, you can join our Discord in the link in the description. I'm pretty much always online and I usually respond to comments, so please join that. If you want to see more memes of Overwatch, you can follow our Instagram at overwatch.guides, and if you want to see channel updates or stuff from my mind, you can follow our Twitter at blizzard_guides. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a nice day. My name is Nate, and this was Blizzard Guides.